Hello, this is Famous Swine, and you may not know me because I'm pretty much brand new, at least with this channel. I've had many channels, but they're not really, well known. I only gotten 2 subscribers total. And I was only on one of my channels, so yeah. But I'm starting brand new, and I'm gonna start out with some HTML and CSS videos. So basically, to start out, let's just create a new site. And if you've been wondering what this video is about, because you just didn't want to see the title, we're going to be making a website using HTML and CSS. Basically, let's just name this YouTube website. I know a lot of people name their stuff that, but hey, can't judge me. It's the first thing that came to my mind. So, yeah, make a folder. Select that. Okay, so we got that, and you can connect to an FTP server if you have one. But anyway, I'll just go to local info, put a new default images file, and we don't have one yet, so just create one and call it images. So you might not use this, I don't know if you will, but if you do, make it. And you can just click save, and you'll have that. So first what you want to do is create a new CSS file. You just click create, Control S to save it in here as, you can either call it main or style.css. Once you save that, just close it and create a new HTML document. We're going to be working in HTML5, and we'll just select style, click this little chain here, OK, select it, create, and now you'll see you have that. So there's your website, and you can start coding. So basically, it's linked to the style sheet. That's where it is. And you can just name your document whatever you want. And yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm going to start out by making a div. And do you want to give it an ID? So you might be wondering, what's the difference between an ID and a class? In a class, basically, if you call this class equals hi, then you could go to a totally different part of your body and make another class and call it hi. But if that was an ID called hi, and you went somewhere else and named another ID hi, it wouldn't work. So IDs work for one specific div, classes work for a whole bunch of divs. So you just make a header, and then you'll make another div, and you can give it the ID, and we'll just call that content. Then we'll make a few IDs, divs. This div can be left content. Okay, actually delete that. And inside of here, inside of your content, you're going to make a div. Not outside of it, inside of it. And you're just going to call this left content. And then another div, and give it the ID of right contact. And content, you should see what I'm typing here. Like an underscore. Basically, that's your content part. Then, lastly, you can make a div with the ID of footer. So, there you go. Got all those. And yes, we want to save this, so just go to name it index.html and make sure it's in your site. You click save, then you'll have this. So you go to design, you'll see just this, and you're like, shouldn't there be more of those? And because there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. But those will be able to be seen more in style. So once you have those, make sure you know you're using header, content, all those. So in style, you want to start a new one. You want to put a hashtag because that's the symbol for IDs. Period is for classes, but remember, we're not dealing with those. So you want to type header. And instead of header, you want to make a height. And I would make this 100 pixels. Nope, don't forget your semicolon. It'll look like that. 100 pixels is, a pretty good size. Yeah, so you want to make a width, and the width is going to be a bit different. I'm going to make it 980 pixels. See, so that you have enough room on your page for one side and another side. And you'll see that that's all the way on the left, and that's not that nice. So basically what you do is to get that centered. You wouldn't put center because that doesn't work for this. You're going to do margin left, auto, and if you don't want to put auto, even though it's easier to remember, you can always just do margin left 59 pixels and then margin right 59 pixels, because auto is equal to 59 pixels. Oh, it can be if your width is not 80. Like if it's something else, the width will be, the margin will be different. That's why I suggest just using auto. Okay, so you're going to have that, and we'll start adding borders later. I just want to show you the outline. That's going to be in a different tutorial. Like the second part of this. So now you got your content. Woo! That's one done. So your content, basically, you're just going to make a height, if I can spell it correctly. And the height, I make mine like 80 pixels, but of course you can make whatever you want. But I just find that the best for me. Okay, and your width is going to be the same as, why do I always, your width will be the same as your header's width, which is 980 pixels. So you see, it goes to left that much, so you also want to add a margin, and I'll just copy these to save time. Save. See, that's centered with it. So if you want to make that simpler, because you actually can change it to just 800. See, it's a bit smaller. You don't have to. Anyway, now we have the left content. This one's a bit more complicated, but anyway, you're gonna make your height. Yeah, and your height's gonna be as high as your content, which is 800 pixels. And your width is gonna be a bit different. Your width is gonna be actually no, sorry, that's for I'm thinking ahead of myself. You just make it 240 pixels. If you'd like to make it wider, you do that, but for this, I'd recommend 240 pixels. Okay, once you have that, last thing you want to add is a float, so it stays floating to left. And you want to do float left, don't do float right. I mean, if you want to mess up your page, go ahead and do that, but yeah. So it will not change anything, at least it won't look like it changed anything, but it is changing a lot. So you got your right content now. And this one's going to be a bit tougher. So your height will be 800 pixels, but your width will be something totally different. So the way you're going to figure out what your width is going to be is you're going to look at your height of the content, the width, sorry, the content, which is 980 pixels, and the width of your left content, which is 240. And you'll see you got 980 minus 240 is 740. But for this thing, we're not gonna, we actually want to have a 1 pixel distance apart. So look, if you just did 740 pixels, let me show you that. They will be exactly the same, and when you know what? Okay, let me float this. You're gonna float right, and now let me show you. You'll see they're like right next to each other. It's sort of messed up, And you like the old video I made on my old channel, CamKids 2000. Well, I made this 730, so a 10 pixel distance apart. See, but I did not like that, so I changed that to 738 pixels. So it's just 2 pixels apart, and you'll see why I do that just now. So you have that, and lastly you want to do your footer. And this one is probably the most simple along with the header. Just going to do height, and you're probably, I'd suggest 20 pixels. And then the width, oh yeah, 980 pixels. Okay, now when you do this, you'll see it's right here. There's no spacing between those, and that doesn't really look nice. So basically, you want to do your margin, but I'm going to introduce you to another margin, unless you've already learned a lot of CSS. You just don't have any ideas for a website. So margin right, auto, and there you go. So now we're just going to focus on making this go 10 pixels down, and then we'll make next we'll make our navigation bar and borders. So basically, this thing is margin from the top 10 pixels, and the margin basically, like the word kind of tells you, makes the margin in between here and that 10 pixels, because a margin on a piece of paper is like all the stuff to the left of that red line. That's sort of like, now the top, like you had a red line on top, and you actually sort of do. So that's the beginning of this first tutorial, and in the next tutorial we'll go more into depth. We'll make our nav bar, we'll add an image in the header, we'll make some links, we'll actually put text in here, and we'll make borders all around. So thanks for watching, guys. This is Famous Swine, and make sure to comment, rate, subscribe. Yeah.